Okay, we're almost getting done with these little series of instructional videos here. Um, just wanted to show you a couple of things. We've looked at some of these. We've looked at the general ledger here and what we can see on the general ledger as far as the running balances and running totals of receipts and disbursements for each of the fund categories. All right. And we've noted that there's one set of columns here that has the general ledger excluding tithe, and there's another set of columns that um, puts everything together for the general ledger including tithe. Okay, so I'll exit back out of that. The next thing that we can look at is we can look at our balance summary. And this, of course, is a good thing to look at and also to print out on year end. Um, maybe you print it out for a business meeting or whatever. I've got a spot up there that's unprotected where you can enter a title. You can say, First Pentecostal Church here. And, you might want to print this out because this is going to show your general ledger. It's going to summarize your beginning balance, your receipts, your disbursements, your net change during the year, and then of course getting to your ending balance. So the first two items here, this is a summary of everything including tithe, and the second category here summarizes everything not including the tithe fund. And again, it breaks the individual account summaries down here. Whatever accounts you happen to put in, like we put in tithe and general and building, youth, ladies, and special ministerial. Those funds show beginning balance, receipts, disbursements, net change, and ending balance here. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So we'll hit exit again. And if you want to drill down into disbursement details, we can click on that button right here. And that will show a breakdown of disbursements year to date, of course. And again, you can enter a title here if you want. First Okay, so I entered a title, and it showed a breakdown of disbursements like pastor's salary, youth pastor's salary, whatever, and the total for the tithe disbursements, various breakdowns for general, building, whatever categories we happen to have. Again, hopefully fairly self-explanatory. And we'll hit exit up here. The giving entry summaries we looked at previously. This gives a nice, concise breakdown of giving receipts for the different funds as they occurred during the year. And let's exit that. And finally, we can look at a giver's summary, which is going to show you year to date. And so I'll click on that button. And so here for the giver's summary, we can see current giving totals year to date for these givers, like cash, Mr. Bill Gates, Sister Sue, and Brother Eddie down here. It shows their breakdown in giving, and it shows the totals for each one of them. You can also scroll down here to the bottom and see the totals for the different funds. So, year to date the giving has been $8,300 for the tithe, and $2,800 for general, etc. right down the line, and then of course including the complete total. Now, one thing that's handy here, we'll talk a little bit about what happens at year end. And the first thing you're going to want to do when you come to year end is, I can't stress enough, making backup copies. In other words, save this, save it under a different file name. However you end up doing that, go File, Save As, and save it under a new file name so that you don't mess things up on this sheet that you've been keeping for the current year. So that done, like most churches do, they give, should be giving your people a record of their giving for tax purposes. And since all these givers are numbered like so, it's really a matter of just selecting the number on the list and putting it in this box right here. So, I mean, Cash, I probably don't need to give Cash a receipt because he's not really a person, but I might need to give number 3 a receipt, which is Warren Buffett. Well, he didn't give nothing yet. Let's go to number 4, Mr. Bill Gates. Brother Gates here, he gave the following amount, and if I wanted to put this into some kind of a form letter, I can select it and copy it and then go paste it into my form letter. Okay, so I think that's relatively simple at the end of the year for most small churches with no more givers than this to do a little copying and pasting. Okay, so that's one year-end thing. Let's exit out of here. And then the other year-end thing that we're going to do is we're going to carry all of the balances and clear out the data for the previous year. So here in this little warning, it tells you to make sure, again, so I reiterate, make sure you have saved a backup of this file prior to carrying balances and clearing data, because this will clear out your data. It will clear out your data but preserve your balances. So I'm going to click the button. It says warning, possible data loss. Make sure you have a backup copy before proceeding. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. This is your second warning. I put a second warning in here because I know somebody's going to mess this up and not make the backup. So if you have not backed up the file, make sure you hit cancel and take care of that. You can say no and no harm done just yet. So let's go through these. I'll say yes, and I'm going to say yes, I've made a backup, so I want to continue. Yes. Now when I do this thing is going to herk and jerk and do a whole bunch of things. and boom, it's done. And if I go look at my general ledger now after doing that, all of the balances, my ending balances, have been transferred onto this top thing here called carried balance. Okay. Or for example, if let me exit out here and go look at the tithe fund, for example, and that previous balance has been carried up to the top here. For that fund. Now if we go look at giving records, let's go look at giving entry summaries. You can see that all of the giving has been cleared out. Okay. And of course we can see that everything else has been cleared out here too. So we're ready for the new year. We could go here to general ledger and enter a date 1-1-2012, for example. And from there on we continue on and make entries just like we normally would. So that concludes the instructional videos on this, and good luck using this. Hopefully it works out. Like I say, a couple of important things are, don't try to mess with the spreadsheet want of the code and so on that's in here. It's a little bit more complicated than probably most people are going to want to tackle. And it's easy to mess things up if you do happen to unlock it and try to add columns and add cells and do odd things to it. So keep it locked up. Use the menu rather than the tabs. And it should work out fairly well. It's simple. We've used it for quite a few years, and I hope it works well for you should you choose to use it for your congregation. Thanks for watching.